I'll call this October 14th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. David, or let's do pledge of allegiance first, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
David, you want to do roll call?
Yeah. Pete Saunders,
Yeah.
Vicky Gushrowski,
Present.
Mark Danielson, absent. Brian Cager,
Present.
Nate Laux,
Present.
4 present.
Approval of minutes from September 9th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I wasn't here.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 5, reduce minimum side yard building setback from 8.25 feet to 5 feet, both sides. Will the petitioner please step forward, state your name and address, please?
Hi, I'm James Baldwin at 407 Lakeside Ave in LaPorte.
And give us a little summary of your,
So what we're wanting to do is basically build on the same footprint that's there. The new ordinances would require us not to be able to be on that footprint, so we're asking to move the side setbacks to where they presently are, have the foundation. We're hoping to reuse the foundation, but prepared to, in the unlikelihood that they're usable. Once we get down and see, they're probably not built to today's standards because the home was originally built in 1909. So that's another reason that we are wanting to move the setbacks in. The rear setback, there's one section, if you've seen the site plan of the existing structure. And so we're asking for that setback just for that section of structure. The side structure would stay the same. We'd stay on that same foundation running across the back. I guess if there's any questions,
that's it for now. We'll
okay,
take staff and public comments from there, and then,
okay.
Thank you.
thank you. David, do you want to?
So, item number 5, variance of development standards 25-09 petition is to reduce the minimum side yard building setback from 8.25 feet to 5 feet on both sides of the property, both side yards, and reduce the minimum rear yard building setback from 20 feet to 5 feet, as the petitioner has requested there. This property, as you can see, the site plan is showing the existing foundation that he mentioned in blue that he plans to utilize and build on. Hence the request for the reduced rear yard building setback to allow a second story above the existing structure there in the garage, conversion into bedroom space on the first and the second floor. As you see, the proposed foundation for the new garage is where the side setback comes into play because it is a substantial improvement over the existing structure itself, over 50% of the value of the home. And so they're requesting that 5-foot side yard reduced setback. I'll just go through the site plan that the petitioner has provided here, or floor plan, I should say. You can see kind of some changes there as far as what's being included in your packets. Basically, pretty standard 2-story home with a porch on the front, a second floor porch deck, and I believe first floor as well. Staff created a kind of a revised, after meeting with the property owner, and I know there's been some discussion between the property owners about the kind of the look of what the impact of the views from adjacent properties will be. I don't know if this aligns with your particular thing. You can answer when you come up to the applicant response. But just kind of a general overview of enclosed and unenclosed. I don't want to cause any confusion here, so that's why I'd kind of want them offer some suggestions there. I did send this to them as well for their review. Just skipping forward on that, just kind of some mock-ups of potential opportunities to allow views from the neighboring properties, but they can clarify. This is the existing two houses on each side. You can kind of see there's some different roof styles there and projections on the front of the house. The petitioner's house is in yellow color there. They actually plan to do 2-story and then a 3rd story above the left side of the image mainly. And on the front would be the deck. I thought I had a picture in there. I think it was there. No. But yeah, you can kind of see the front on the deck on the left of the image on the top, and on the bottom on the right that shows that 2nd story deck with a roof over it on the front of the house. It is within the height limit for the 3rd story, so there is no variances needed there. This is just showing the other side of the property, which would be the north side of the property, excuse me. There is an access to kind of an easement to the property behind it up the hill, because there is about a 40-foot hill behind them. And so you can see the different roof style there with the neighbor's house. Again, just showing the house itself. And I do have some photos that were submitted by the neighbor. I don't know if they mind me showing them or if you wanted to talk about them. Okay. And just some of the things that the neighbor had submitted as far as the view from the house, just to show kind of the vantage point of the lake and the proposed additions. And they can kind of walk through some of that when they come back. And that's basically all that I have. Staff does recommend approval of the variance of development standards request with kind of, because the requested variance is compatible with the existing homes on both sides. And so it's very similar to what you see on Lakeside Street. And within the Waterfront View Protection Overlay District, as I mentioned, there is a hill on the backside, so there isn't any view that would be blocked by the height of the home. And so there isn't any need for the reduction in side yards from the Closser Avenue side to the immediate, the east there. So staff does recommend approval of the petitioner's request to reduce both the minimum side and rear yard building setbacks as part of Variance of Development Standards Petition 25-09. There is one that I would like the petitioner to come back on, one of the recommended conditions that I have, just for clarification. If you could speak to that.
So, as you can see by the pictures, it's pretty close, so you have to be pretty neighborly. The image there at the bottom left, that view.
Down here.
Yes. That is where the balcony, the 2nd floor balcony would be. And I've shown the neighbors, I've put some markings on the ground so that there's an understanding of exactly where the building's going to be. And then as far as the view out that window, we are going to put in a glass railing on that porch so that it's transparent, so that you could see through that. And it's, I mean, there's going to be a house there, so you're not going to be able to see everything, but it's going to reduce any blockage that we can, you know, everything we can do so that you have more view. And like I said, you know, we've explained with them, to work with them, and we're happy to continue to work with them, and even suggestions.
Yeah.
from David, so.
And so you received a copy of the recommended conditions?
I did
you
not,
looked at it? Okay.
I did not see that.
I guess I could show them to you. Just don't want to get clarification on that.
So we're basically suggesting a compromise between what you've requested and,
It's virtually what we originally submitted, but what we're clarifying is the fact that we're going to have a transparent
Okay.
rail on that
So,
front.
Transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know, there's going to be a handrail, but we're going to put something that you can see through. We're not going to put a solid wall all the way out to the front build line.
So the transparent wall, for anyone, I'm not 100% sure, but basically your rails have to be, if you were to have rails, they have to be 4 inches apart in order for.
It's going to be solid,
Correct.
a solid glass
So you would have
panel.
glass panel.
Yes, yes.
Which would enhance the view instead of having.
Exactly.
4-inch rails forever.
Exactly.
Sure.
Has there been a discussion about the enclosed portion of the deck that you're proposing
Over the garage?
Over the garage? Because that's where we're
This
suggesting
part
perhaps
here.
some sort of a trade-off that would preserve views, but also allow you to have 2/3 of basically what you're requesting in terms of internal.
Okay. It starts to get to be a pretty small room
Yeah.
there.
So this area here where the
Yes.
fireplace is in the deck?
Yes.
Is that proposed to be a wall or is a solid wall?
Yes.
So staff, that was my recommendation, and that's where I kind of wanted to get clarification and make sure not to cause any confusion. Kind of drew something off that there's an area that may be enclosed is 14 by 14. And then there's an area here that can be open, unenclosed with no roof. I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Okay, we were going to put a roof over it just out of the fact that, so it's covered. And then, we won't have to deal with snow and water
yeah.
collecting up there. There's going to be the 8-foot section out front will be roofed but open.
Okay,
And that roof line will be high enough to where it won't impede their view. They will be, their view will be underneath that.
okay. So are you comfortable with the enclosure, like the suggestion that staff would have for enclosure for
To
14?
reduce that?
Yeah.
I mean, we would like to keep that the same size. We'd like to use that as a 3-season room.
Okay. Okay. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to get clarification from you, and I'll finish up here. So staff does recommend approval of the variance request. Staff does recommend that the variance request be modified to limit the size of the second floor above the garage. I will take out the no roof portion of the recommended condition, and that it only be an open deck. So with the clear glass railings on the front portion of the house, as was mentioned. And the other condition was that a drainage plan is required to be submitted as part of the building permit process, to be reviewed and approved by the City of Porte Engineering and Building Services Department. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
So I don't know if we're totally clear on that, the number one condition.
Okay.
I think they want to totally enclose that area above the garage. Has that been discussed with your neighbor? Are they okay with that? So we can totally take out that first provision?
It has. And they're here. They're here with us. The deck part of that will be open, and the side wall towards theirs will be transparent.
Okay, and they're okay with the total enclosure?
These are your
Yes.
neighbors back here, correct?
Yeah,
We can bring them up for a couple of public comment,
yeah. If,
Go ahead and come up.
if you would, sir, or ma'am.
Yep.
He can. Go ahead and give your name and state your address, please.
Charles Bourne, 405 Lakeside Street.
Welcome.
Thank you. All right, I haven't seen this one yet. We're okay with the glassed-in portion on the upper deck. Initially, with the wall coming out, that's why we objected,
Yep.
and that did hinder our view. But with the glass opening there, then I guess we're fine with that. But can you go back to that one slide?
The back one?
Through, some of the last comments kind of confused me a little bit. How far out is the solid wall going to extend on there,
This one?
on the second floor?
The second floor?
Yeah.
It says 40, from front to back is 47 feet.
Can you show me on
You put
the,
the dot on the corner for him,
Right
all
here,
the way to the, okay,
right there.
okay.
The solid wall goes to there.
that corner.
David, according to this looks like it pretty much just squares the house up,
yeah.
pretty
maybe- I
much,
was gonna say,
correct?
maybe go back to that that
Yeah,
image.
according to the
Yeah, and the
Mr. and
need-
Mrs. Baldwin, that's what
So to
happened.
clarify, the need
Yeah.
for the side and rear variances is because they're basically adding to the house, within that envelope, if you will, of
Yep.
the house as extended. And because it doesn't extend any further beyond those extents, we feel comfortable with it being requested because it
Correct.
doesn't block the upper homes. But, yeah, so the issue remains just this corner, basically, if you will.
Yeah,
Right.
to this gentleman here,
Right.
there's no walls that are gonna go past any of the walls that already,
Right,
you know,
right.
the
Gotcha.
furthest wall.
All right,
So,
yeah, okay, we're okay with that.
Good, good.
Okay.
That makes me happy. Good.
All right,
So then we can take out that number 1 condition.
Correct.
Up to you.
According the roof.
Is there any other further comment? Public?
Mr. Baldwin, go ahead.
The, Lori, my neighbor, wanted clarification. The number one condition is that correct, that the open deck or the open area over the, is not going to be open over the garage like your staff suggested?
no,
So it's going to be as to this drawing, and it'd be just like what the markings on the street. So it won't go past the front of the existing home,
Correct.
and then the 8 foot of that deck will be open with the glass rail.
On 3 sides, correct?
All, yeah.
On all 3 sides.
All 3 sides, yes.
Okay.
And then the one above the garage, what's that gonna be off of the bedroom that you're building over the garage? Is that gonna be open deck too?
Up to, from the front of the house that's existing right now,
Yeah.
that's where the corner of the house, the physical second floor will be. Will terminate there.
So there's still a wall in, by the, or over the garage?
There's
where
still
your
a
porch
wall.
is gonna be, but it's gonna be cleared?
There's going to be a wall over the garage, and then the,
Second level?
yes, second level. The deck that sticks out, and which is still behind the 25-foot build line, is going to have the glass rail and open.
All right.
Yeah?
You can give your name and your address. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
you're fine.
I'm confused. Lori Bourne, I live at 405 Lakeside Street. Okay, so this, okay, here's your garage down below. Okay, and then here, I know we talked about this
Mm-hmm. Correct.
deck. So this room is, so what's this wall gonna be?
This is
From the
a-
second floor?
Yeah, this is a solid wall. That's
David,
living
Can you
space.
bring
This
up
is gonna
the
be,
isometric picture of their house?
Well, that was what we were talking, see, I thought that was gonna be all open. I thought that was.
this 8-foot area is open and glass.
Right, because
Yes.
that's over the driveway.
Correct.
Right now.
Right,
Okay.
correct. This is going to be a room.
Ma'am, to summarize your question, what is your concern, your primary concern?
My concern is, as you go back to my pictures, you'll see that right outside my bedroom window, if I look at, this is what I'm looking at. So he's saying to square up the room to that little bump out right there, okay?
Correct.
And come up. And then it's a second level, okay? And then where his old deck is, that's the 8-foot that he's gonna build a porch on the ground level and another porch on the second level. I didn't realize, now let me think about this, because I thought we had talked about where you were gonna leave all that open off of, from your bedroom, in other words, from this bedroom. I thought this was all gonna be open, Jamie.
That's completely, that's the whole,
That's
that's
what
a
I
whole
thought.
room. Okay, well,
Is that what you were, what was your?
No, we were
recommendation?
suggesting a compromise that takes into account the angle of view, basically to preserve an angle so that you're basically given about the same view as you have now, but he would be able to get a 14 by 14 enclosed porch, but the remainder of it would be open
Versus what he had asked for.
versus what,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
were suggesting, as a staff, we were suggesting a compromise. We went out there, we spent quite a bit of time looking at this, and, you know, the idea is that the ordinance is intended to preserve views where possible, and that's what we were suggesting as a compromise, that would allow them to have some enclosed area for a three-season porch, but would have that open area wrap around a little bit so that you preserve that view a little bit more.
So
That was
slightly
our
smaller,
suggestion
so
for
that
a
you guys can
compromise.
both win here a little bit, you know?
so it's my
Now,
understanding.
It's, sorry.
If we did not get, if we stayed within the setbacks of the 8.25 feet, we could build 35 feet high right there. That's
As
what we
long as
don't.
you are this, your lot's a little bit interesting because.
We're back
you're
25
not
feet from
on a
that
road.
street.
So which one's the front setback?
They're-
The
front
lake, the
setback
lake is essentially.
The lake is the front
The lake is
setback.
the front setback.
On Lakeside?
Yeah, as long as you maintain the setback requirement, I suppose that's true.
We don't want to do that, because that would completely block their view.
Yeah.
So that's why we put that deck sticking out that's going to be clear to try to maintain some of that view. I understand we're going to block some view, at the second floor, but we don't want to,
Well, yeah. So the other thing to keep in mind here is that David and I also take into account is that the Bourne's property, basically the same thing was done at their property, in the past. The property was, the house was squared off.
Yep.
Sorry. The house was squared off and second story was added. It's shaped a little bit differently. There's some dormers in different places and things like that. But essentially, Mr. Baldwin is asking for the same sort of arrangement for his property.
So,
So we
So-
thought
yeah.
it was fair to offer the compromise, so that the views were maintained. He received, I guess 2/3 of what he's asking for in terms of internal space, and then, yeah, so,
If I-
Craig, to your point, what Mr. Baldwin is doing here is essentially doing what his neighbors have done in the past. He's asking for something similar, but while also maybe giving us a compromise for, because again, we want the Bournes to have as best view as they can, while also allowing Mr. and Mrs. Baldwin to also build the house that they want to build, correct?
yeah, and the waterfront view overlay district is really meant for preserving views from properties behind other properties primarily. So it's, to some extent, it takes into account the side views. That's why we offered the compromise. Because it's impossible to completely preserve a view and be with, the point that was made about the building envelope, basically, we're describing here is the area within the setbacks that are allowed. Mr. Baldwin could build a much larger structure on the property as long as he maintains the lot coverage requirements and the setbacks. But it's, we offered what we thought was a compromise that would be, that would allow Mr. Baldwin to utilize the majority of his property the way he would like to, but also takes into account the fact that there's a neighboring property with some views.
I just think there's an issue when you look at those houses, and I actually went out there. Either house, to the right or left, has a full-scale,
It's true.
totally enclosed second floor.
It's true, yeah.
And if you look at where their second floor would end, it doesn't exceed out past those houses. So I just kind of
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I just kind of think it's unfair to not have them do what pretty much everybody on the lake does.
Mr. Baldwin, as it's been stated, could build just as big as home if he,
Well,
If he
but if
changed
we
it.
don't take out that number one provision, then they're having to compromise even more
Correct.
by not building.
Right, they wouldn't be able to build as wide.
Right.
so that's what, our compromise, my wife and I, we talked about what are we going to build there. Our compromise was, we don't want to build 35 feet out to the corners. That would definitely, block view
Be more
of both neighbors.
yeah.
So and that's, we tried
Well,
to
you
come
still
up-
got some other limitations. You've got lot coverage requirements and things like that that would limit how far you could go out towards the
Right,
front. But,
right, but still 25 foot from the back of the street.
well, that's the basement, that's the base, and then you've got lot coverage on top of that. So that's another thing to take into account.
David, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to point out just one quick thing on the staff recommendation, on the basis for the staff recommendation. So, met with both property owners and discussed with them. The staff recommendation, I'm gonna try to draw a line. I don't know how well this is gonna go, but
Well, we're all watching.
this is the second story. Oh, it's not doing anything. Okay,
Oh, there we go.
so, okay.
That's the proposed second
And so
story.
this is the proposed second story, and this is what the staff recommendation is based off of with the wraparound deck, the wall. And so that's where their second stories are. This is where, what I mean by compatible with existing structures within the waterfront view protection overlay district, because as Craig mentioned, it is meant to preserve mostly from public roadways, but it's also meant to protect community aesthetics, use and value of properties within the overall waterfront view protection overlay district. So a little bit of education session there, but I just wanted to make that point clear because as you see the neighbors' second stories, and you mentioned that, Vicky, you see the second stories, they have decks that protrude out. You can see that on the property to the north, right in the middle, they have a deck that protrudes out. The neighbors to the south, they have a front porch that's lower than the second floor in front of that line. So that's all that I have. I just wanted to mention that for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And I will like to close on, when we start building and we see, it's like, oh my God, this isn't what we expected. We want to be neighborly.
Certainly, sir.
If we could put a window on this side of the house or something that would help that, if we get to that point during construction that, you know, this is ungodly, then we would certainly do our best to work to compromise or to make it as palatable as possible.
I guess another point, going back to what Vicky said before, is when you look at the aerial photo of that section of the street, if you will, it is between two other houses that project out farther than the house is currently. So I guess that is something to be taken into account. Perhaps the one to the north is a little less so, it's kind of staggered, if you will. But the house that's owned by the Bournes next door definitely projects out farther, and what they're requesting would end up being comparable to their house in terms of setback when you add the covered porch portion of it on the front, the 8-foot covered porch portion on the front. So I guess that is a good point to be made, that it is essentially the same as the houses on either side.
Exactly.
That is our porch, that's our roof, our covered porch.
And that would be the same with his house. So if we drew another line,
Right,
there,
from across everybody.
that would be, yeah, it would basically line up with both.
Yeah, no, that's not my issue. I was under the understanding that solid wall over the garage on the second floor was not going to be there. Your compromise was to not come as far and to have that
Correct.
a little bit more that way.
Yeah,
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
but
You don't want to treat it.
I apologize. I thought that
Yeah.
when I had the marks in the driveway, I thought you understood that that's where the corner of the
it's-
house was.
I know that.
Okay.
yeah, and it's ultimately up to the board to decide.
I totally understand.
And it's ultimately up to the board to decide what they want to do here, so.
Correct.
They've heard the arguments on both sides, now they make a decision,
Thank
basically.
you.
So I'm comfortable voting, including the number 2 condition, but not the number 1.
Do I have a second?
That's a motion. Is that a motion?
Are you, explain to me a little bit more, Vicky, why that?
I feel it's not fair for them to have to reduce the amount that they want enclosed.
To the petitioners, it's not?
Petitioner.
Yep.
When every house around them has a fully, totally enclosed second unit.
So the compromise that the staff's going for?
I disagree with.
Yep, yep. I'm actually going to, is that a motion?
So yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the number 2 condition included, but not the number 1 condition.
I'll second that with the statement as well, is I believe these are two good neighbors, and I
Right.
believe that James is going to also communicate with his neighbor as well. And so I will second that with full faith that they're going to do the right thing as good neighbors as well.
Do we have a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You guys do not need to stick around if you would like to part.
But why would you want to leave? That's the question. The party's just starting.
Item number 6, exceed maximum accessory building area, requesting 956 feet. Will petitioner please step forward?
Kimber Cornell, 1003 West 12th Street.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just asking if I can add on to my existing garage, and it is to store a boat, and keep it out of eyesore of the neighbors.
David, you wanna?
I'm going to handle this one. David's asked me to handle this one, so. David's asked me to do a staff report on this one,
Oh, okay,
so.
certainly.
Yep. Okay, the applicant, Kimberly Cornell, the request is proposing to allow a 24-foot by 16-foot building addition on the existing 22-foot by 26-foot detached garage for personal storage and use. Petitioner also proposes to reduce the minimum rear yard setback for a detached accessory building from 10 feet to 6 feet. And I will note that that's in keeping with the existing setback of the current garage. As I think you can see, where's that drawing? Here. So basically, we went out and took a look at this site, and we took into consideration the existing development patterns within this neighborhood. We felt that the square footage of what's being asked for is a bit excessive, so we're requesting that there be a compromise considered again, to not allow the full square footage of what's being requested, so that we're more in keeping with what you see within the neighborhood. So our staff recommendation is that we find that the requested variance of development standards petition conforms to the goals and policies of the countywide land development plan. The requested variance to exceed the maximum accessory building area and reduction of the maximum or minimum rear yard setback for a detached accessory building is compatible with the existing accessory buildings in the surrounding area. We recommend approval with a modification of the petitioner's variance request to allow for 832 square feet of maximum accessory building area and reduce the minimum rear yard setback for a detached accessory building from 10 feet to 6 feet as part of the variance as requested. So to be clear, we're suggesting slightly less square footage to be in conformity with what's already kind of existing throughout the neighborhood with other accessory structures. This is a two-car garage existing, and what we're suggesting is basically the addition that would be about the same size as a standard three-car garage as opposed to the total request. So that's what's being suggested as part of our staff recommendation.
Thank you, Greg.
Craig, I'm sorry, what size specifically are you saying instead of 24 by 16? What do you say?
A total of 832 square feet. So
It would be 16 by 16.
basically
which is within
16
that,
by,
which is,
I don't know that math off the top of my head, 26 by, let's see. I think
So instead of 956, you're talking about 832.
which
Okay,
is
thank you.
like a three-car garage as opposed to a four-car garage, essentially. But that, like I said, was based on kind of our survey of the neighborhood and the other existing accessory structures throughout that portion of the community. I don't have a lot of information about the exact use of the structure. I'll let the petitioner clarify that for you, and that will make you, hopefully help you make your decision.
Yeah, I have some questions. So you said you want to use this for a boat storage, is that correct?
yeah.
What access are you going to have into this garage part here? Are you going to get to it?
New?
Yeah, the new
would
part,
have
because you've got your
another-
driveway ending, but how are you going to get into that?
My driveway actually, it would come over, it does come over.
Okay, so
That
the-
squared portion behind the house is actually all cement. So, oh, you see the boat. So it would be, the boat is actually on concrete right now.
mhm.
So we were just wanting to go right off of the garage right there, just,
Gotcha.
and it would have another garage door for that just to
Yep.
go in.
And what
But-
we're
but
suggesting is
16
there's
feet would
enough
not be
room
enough.
to have the boat inside as requested with addition of essentially another one-car garage.
Okay,
It's a 16-foot boat, with the trailer is 21 and a half feet. So we were asking for just enough to be able to put it in there.
How wide is the boat?
How wide? 7 feet with the trailer.
and your trailer is how long, how big?
Width, everything included from the, if you include the prop to the hitch, it's 21.5 feet.
So it's a 151 essentially, you know.
Square feet.
Oh, sorry.
That's just the boat.
Sorry. Yeah, that's just the boat.
So the current 26,
So is the staff recommending the shape of the garage, or they just need to stay under 800 and,
we're just suggesting this, the equivalent of a 3-car garage.
okay.
We're not dictating the shape, but you've got 22 feet.
First, you have to take 22 times 26 and
Yeah.
subtract that from 800
It's
and whatever
572.
our recommendation is.
Have you thought about having it come flush with your current garage and then
Be times-
bringing the
times 22
sides in? Then it would easily,
22?
you still have then that 26
Times 26,
feet.
So it's an additional 10 feet of width
572.
by 26 feet. So this, what we're suggesting would allow an additional 10 feet of width by 26 feet.
Yep.
Which,
Or-
if the trailer is 7 foot, it should give enough room.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I'm asking, make sure the staff's not
that's- I
recommending.
think that's what we kinda
recommending
based it on,
shape,
so-
because they may consider how they want to position this.
Yep.
So,
But would another 10 feet put it still at over,
No, it would put it at the 832 that we were suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the math, it's 32 by 26.
is a standard 3-car garage, normally,
Roughly,
roughly, yes.
but it was basically adding an additional 10 feet times the depth of the garage. Which would allow the boat to be stored. And there are other 3-car garages in areas within the neighborhood.
So,
well, I don't have anyone, I don't know much about this, but I can say that when I built the garage 21 years ago, we have, the gas line runs up along that side, so we were gonna avoid anything around that. It's, I don't know what adding on, I'm trying to think, I'm sorry. And that's where the access door is as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it gonna be attached to the garage? Okay.
Yeah.
I think, Craig, in your vision of this, Craig, or what you're suggesting is they just come out with the building further, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so how much further can they come out and
They
still?
could utilize the existing driveway.
Yep.
And they could have an additional 10 foot of width.
well,
More than that, honestly, right?
so they have, obviously, this is why I asked this, they have options, right? You could go, whatever the math works out, but you could go 24 foot deep and 12 foot wide.
Yep.
But whatever
Yeah,
the
whatever
math works
that
out
works
to
out to.
be,
Yep.
yes. Which would make, if you put a third door there to make it a true 3-car garage, you could have that first door recessed by 2 foot, again, or whatever the math works out to be. If you went 13 foot wide and recessed the front by 3 foot, or, again, you know, it's all about just math and numbers at this point.
Remind me again, I think, Pete, you said we're suggesting the minimum, or the maximum square footage of this is what now?
832.
832, so. That seems like plenty of square foot to me.
Put a boat in, yeah.
I do appreciate that you're trying to get a boat stored. I know with code enforcement right now, they want to see these kind of things stored and they want to see them out of sight. So I'm sure our code enforcement
like to
person would be happy
I
with
like
this.
to keep everything out of sight,
Yep.
too.
It does look very clean and I appreciate that. I will, is there any, sorry, is there any response?
No, I'm,
Do
do we want to make a,
So if I
wait,
don't
you
exceed,
have public, you need to have a public hearing.
so pretty much if I don't exceed the 832, then I really don't need to be doing the petition and variance
No, you need that, in order to exceed
to go over the 832.
anything over what's currently there.
Yeah. to add to any of your garage, you actually.
You still need
to get a
this.
Oh,
variance.
even if
So,
it
yep,
wasn't
yep.
under?
But, yep.
Okay, I see. Okay.
At this time, I'll open up for public comment. Please, step forward, man.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time. Oh, is she not coming up? Oh, there we go. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Just give us your name and your address.
My name is Patricia L. Day. I live at 907 West 12th Street.
Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you.
We live on this side of that garage, and we've lived in our home, we're going on 26 years. And that yard, she has always maintained everything right to a T. Her grass is always
like
cut. Anything she's got out there is always beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It really does, and I just want to say, for us living and looking at her property, always very nice, and I vote for her to get the larger amount of space, so,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. Thanks for coming.
Is there any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll close it. Staff, do we want to make a motion?
Yeah, I agree with the city. If the 832 is what's kind of in line with that area, I'll make a motion to approve with the city's recommendation of the 832 square feet.
But approval of the setback request. But to be clear, approval of the setback request as requested.
Oh, that is, all right, we talked so much about the square footage.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yes, I'll make a motion to approve the setback with the city's recommendation of the square footage.
Thank you.
And I would
Second?
second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And your yard did look beautiful. It looked great.
Okay.
Item number 7 is exceed maximum accessory building area, requesting 2,550 square feet, and increase maximum building height from 18 to 28.5, reduce minimum yard, or east side yard setback from 40 feet to 7 feet.
Are we doing item 8 as well, and item 8?
I'm
It's
sorry.
the same
Oh.
problem, same.
Okay, and item 8, allow accessory building dwelling within the detached.
So one is the use variance and the other is the developmental standards. So we can use the same presentation for both, but I would suggest that you vote on both separately just because it's two different types of requests
Okay.
at the end.
Thanks, Craig.
Good evening. I'm Dave Ambers, attorney at 601 State Street here in LaPorte. I have with me the petitioner, Mr. Roy. I'm not going to read my petition to you, but as it's been summarized here, we're basically asking for 4 things. Mr. Roy wants to build an accessory building that's going to be 2,550 square feet. He would like for it to be 28.5 feet. If you've seen the pictures in your packet, it's going to be a beautiful barn dominium, part apartment, part storage area. He would like to have a variance of the side setback of 7 feet, which is the only part of this petition that staff disagrees with. And then he needs the variance, the use variance for the accessory dwelling unit, since it's going to be in addition to his home that's located on the property. As you've seen in our presentation, it's a beautiful barn dominium. There used to be a building in this location. That was taken down some time ago, and now he would like to build this structure. As I've said, our only difference is, with the staff, is how close to the property line can he build this? And Mr. Roy is here to answer any questions you may have as far as the construction of the building, the use, et cetera.
Thank you.
Mr. Roy, would you like to speak, or, no? Staff report.
This time I'll let staff.
If you're going to speak, you do have to come to,
Please.
yep, thank you.
There was a building there when I bought the property. There were 3 foundations on the property when I bought it. The building was there. I took the 2 foundations out. There were no buildings there on the foundation. I built my house. Eventually, the other building was dilapidated, and I took it down. And I was just going to put the building on the same, roughly the same footprint as the old one was.
And the reason the side setback issue comes in is I had no idea the water overlay district now covers Walker Lake.
Yeah.
And what I
I
think
own
was
part of it.
originally passed for Pine and Stone Lake is now on to Walker Lake, and what hurts Mr. Roy is he has 12 acres and he doesn't have a 50 or 75-foot lot on Pine Lake or Stone Lake. He's got a large 12-acre parcel on Ohio Street, so he has more width, and the side setback is a percentage of width rather than a set distance. That's where the issue comes in.
Thank you. Staff?
Yeah, so item number 7, variance of development standards 25-11 petition is to exceed the maximum accessory building area requesting 2,550 square feet. The second part is to reduce the minimum side yard building setback, which is, as Mr. Ambers alluded to, is part of the waterfront view protection overlay district, which encompasses this area, which sets 30% of the minimum, the lot width is set your side yard, so it's 40 feet on each side of the property. And so he's requesting to go down to 7 feet from the east property line on the map there, as you see. And the third one is to increase the maximum building height for a detached accessory building from 18 feet to 28.5 feet. And then the last part of that is a use variance to allow accessory dwelling unit or living quarters within the half of the building there. So staff, just going through some of the photos that I took of the site, just so you give it a little vantage point. This is what the petitioner provided as far as the look of the building. As you can see, half of it would be the accessory dwelling unit and the other half would be for storage, personal storage, just the back of the building. So this is looking from Ohio. As you can see, the property to would be the east of the site. This is looking straight back along the property line that's in question of what he's requesting. Staff's recommendation is to deny the request for the reduced side yard setback in lieu of creating that 40-foot separation, which would bring the building closer to the house and would make a compromise for the neighboring property owner. And I'll just back up here to the map. You can kind of see it here. You can see what the building location that the applicant is wanting to build is actually directly in line with the neighbor's back patio and deck.
The red, David?
The red area is the building. The 30 by, 85 feet is the building that they would like to build. The neighbor's house is directly to the kind of the northeast of where that building would be located if the variance were to be granted. Just to give you a little perspective on that. As was mentioned, the property is 12.63 acres, so which actually ends up being about 2.5 acres of land area. Staff did some calculations on the existing building sizes in the area, just kind of going through those, just for your reference. Some of the largest sizes up to 3,000 square feet. On one of the properties that's kind of in a similar situation, it's about an acre in size. That's about 3,000 square property line itself. And it's at the end of a street. And a little bit more wooded in the back, but also directly east within that same waterfront view overlay protection area, which actually extends basically all the way around to Roberts and Ohio Street. So that is the largest size, and there's also one more on Ohio Street to the east a little bit of ways, just past Albin Drive. It's on an acre of land right behind the house. And so staff does recommend approval of the Everything except for the side yard setback from 40 to 7. Staff does recommend denial of that request and just keeping the 40-foot setback, which would actually move the building closer to the house and away from the neighbor's property, their view of the lake. And I'll answer any questions if you have them. I think, actually, there was, let me back up here a second. Part of that approval of the size for 2,550 square feet of maximum accessory building area, and to increase the maximum building height for a detached accessory building from 18 feet to 28.5 feet. As a part of this request is that it adhere to the following conditions: that the accessory building be located no closer to the lake than the house on the adjacent property to the east. And 2, that the accessory building shall be covered with an exterior material customarily used on site-built residential dwellings as specified in section 14.01 A1B. And there's a specific section that lists all the things that you can use for a house. It's the same thing, so it would basically be their flexibility to use what they think is appropriate to match with their house, rather than it just being strictly aluminum siding. So with that, I'll answer questions if you have.
Yeah, I have a question for
And
you,
if
David.
if I could add to that just a little bit. So we looked at this pretty carefully, and in kind of keeping with the waterfront view protection overlay district standards and the fact that, frankly, there's an opportunity to provide for almost what the property owner would like to do on his property and adhere to those setbacks and still be able to fit that on his property. So if you look at, if you put a 40-foot setback on the map, it's still, you can almost still fit that building with the same front setback and almost the same rear setback as the house adjacent, and basically have it perpendicular to the house that's on the lot currently. But be it, between the buildings, and so we don't think there's a hardship from a setback standpoint. You can still build that on this property with that setback. The condition is based on the fact that we think that, this shouldn't come any farther forward than the house adjacent towards the lake, because of the views, basically, from their house. So basically, he still would be able to get what he wants to do on the property, but at the setback that's required. That's what we're suggesting.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open up for public comment. Please state your name and address for record.
Hi, I'm Caleb Regalado, 1402 Ohio Street. I'm here on behalf of my parents, Roy and Judy Regalado, who are the owners of 1402 Ohio Street. I believe we completely agree with staff. Our main concerns are, number one, privacy. As you said, it would start pretty much at where their back patio is. I've shared some pictures that kind of show what kind of windows it would look into if someone were to live there. It sees straight into their living area, master bedroom, master bathroom, and some other bedrooms as well. So that's also a good example of what I'll get to next, but can you scroll forward a few more pictures? So that angled one is the master bathroom up top. And I believe the picture to the left is a little bit of what you would see in that angle, which is exactly where that barn dominium would be. Can you go to, and then the pictures on the left and on the
Mr.
bottom
Regalado,
left.
this is your house here, is it? Or
Their
your
house,
parents' house?
yes.
Sorry. Yep. Okay.
Those are the windows that the barn dominium would look into. That picture in the middle top right there, that is exactly the view from their master bathroom, which is exactly where the barn dominium would be. I believe the barn dominium would pretty much be on level with that trellis back there where you see morning glory vines on it, and it would take place to some of those trees you see in the middle of the picture. So any people living in that barn dominium would be able to see directly into my parents' windows. Again, living area, master bedroom, master bathroom, and another bedroom as well. Can we go back to the first picture? Their second objection would be clearly to protect their corridor of sunlight and their lake view from the west. The barn dominium would completely erase that picture right there. I believe this picture is either from early spring or winter, just to show that, you know, my parents do treasure that view. They're taking pictures of it all the time. It's one of the pleasures of their property that they've lived at for almost 30 years. And then, you know, their third objection would just be property value. It's clearly a very large building, very tall, very big size-wise, and the current proposal is very close, right? So it would create like a cramped feeling, and it would reduce kind of the desirability of the property if they were to ever sell it. But, you know, we're certainly willing to be neighborly. We're willing to come to a compromise. We certainly want Mr. Roy to be able to do with this property what he wants to do and to build what he wants to build. Just we want to protect, you know, their privacy, their view of the lake and sun from the west, and their property value. I think 40-foot setback would accomplish that, and then, you know, we would be aligned with the height and the size of the barn dominium.
Thank you.
Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Is there any other public comment? At this point, I'll close the public comment. Staff, any questions?
So, yeah, real quick, just to clarify, so if we obviously will have the 40-foot setback, and then Craig, if you're saying that it has to be no closer than the house, you know, adjacent to the back of that one house, I mean, just so you understand, it's gonna be, yes, 40 feet away, but it's gonna be directly now next to your house. Is that correct? Because you say they would have to move that building would have to
more
go
than,
closer
but
to
over 40
Ohio.
feet from their house. So I
Right,
mean,
but
a
it's-
significant distance from their house.
Right, but it's still gonna be directly across, yeah.
Yeah,
thank
it would
you,
be
yeah.
between.
Parallel to where your house is currently located.
As far as on this view that David have, if you move that entire red block
Basically, the house would, the barn dominium could go here.
Right, so it's gonna go parallel to their, granted 40 feet away, but it's gonna be parallel to their house.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what we're suggesting.
I mean, this gentleman has a lot of land here, and that still is the suggestion from the staff that they don't go past.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We think it's a fair compromise because he still gets to build what he wants, and there's plenty of room. We don't see the hardship for the setback, other than that he wants it, and that's where the old building used to be. But because other things have developed since that time on the properties adjacent, it basically, to go back to what was there before, we feel is a hardship on the neighbors because it really, really obstructs their views. So we basically wanted to try to come to a situation where the neighbors' concerns are taken care of, but Mr. Roy gets to build what he wants, just not exactly where he wants to build it. We're not saying it can't be the size he wants, the style he wants. We're thinking, you know, basically we're saying it would be built with that 40-foot setback and not any farther forward than the house adjacent in terms of towards the lake. And we think it's a fair compromise because, like I said, he still gets to build what he wants. It's just not where he wants on the property because things have changed since that historically was built the way it was in the past. And those foundations are gone, those buildings are gone, and now that you have new development that's occurred since that time, we don't feel like we should replicate that situation because, you know, the conditions have changed.
Explain to me then, I've got no issues with the 40-foot setback from that. That's 7 foot is way too close to that person's, to the regulatos. I get that.
Yeah.
What I don't understand though is why can't it come, you know, he's got acres and acres there.
Yeah.
Why it couldn't be behind his house, you know, as long as it's 40 feet, you know, away from the property line.
It's the lake again. It's the lake view again.
Okay. Because that could obstruct the Regalato's
Yeah,
lake
no,
view, even though it's on his property line, or property.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be a significant impact visually on the property adjacent.
Okay.
But we're saying that if you go back, David, if you go back to the other drawing, the zoom in, we're saying he can build what he wants to build right here.
Yeah, but you're giving him like just he has to build right there. That's his only option then.
Well, it's 40 feet, but he still can build it.
Okay.
So we think it's a fair compromise, is because, you know, we're not stopping him from building it, it's just not out here like he wants it.
Yeah, you're not stopping him, but you are dictating a very small place where he can build.
Well, that's not unusual
on a-
for a building envelope on a property.
With somebody that has 11 acres? 12 acres? Thank you, David.
Well, it's 12 acres including the lake.
Okay, so it's, what is it, about 5 land?
2.5.
Oh,
Two and a
that,
half.
okay, thank you.
Roughly 2.5 acres.
Okay, thank you.
Petitioner,
I just have a couple of questions, but I think Mr. Phillips just answered one. At first, I thought I understood you to say you wanted the building parallel to the road, but the way you just moved your hand, you want it parallel to the property line, east.
Well, the way you had it before, just moved. Yeah, the same orientation as you had it before, just moved.
Because that's required in the district, that you be perpendicular to the.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically, yes.
And then to answer your question, it's going to be smart side, what he's planning, he can always work out with. But it's gonna be smart siding, it's not gonna be steel siding.
Like LP or whatever, or Smart Side, or, yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then, but it is gonna have metal, he was planning on a metal roof.
Yeah.
which
We're not opposed to
houses
that.
have these.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Like we said, materials that are customarily used in residential applications are fine.
All right. Well, obviously, we'd like 40, or we'd like 7, you want 40, we'll do what you guys tell us to do.
Thank you, Mr. House.
Any other questions for myself or Mr. Roy?
staff would like to make a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I would motion, I would put forward a motion to do this, providing we stick with the amendment to keeping it as 40 feet.
And then it has to be adjacent to the property on the east.
Yes.
So basically, you're going with what the recommendation is of staff?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I, sorry, is it, am I allowed to ask a question right now? But are you talking about, I can't go past the Regalato's house or his house?
Regalatos.
Thank you, okay.
Yes.
So it's basically will be moved closer to Ohio and over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Craig. Did you second that or no? Because I'll second after that.
Oh, you made the motion, I haven't.
Yep,
seconded.
I'll second. Thank you. Thanks, Victor.
My sister's not understanding where the house or the barn is going to be put.
That will ultimately be determined, but
Can I just clarify what we're talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
limits
Right.
wise?
Sure.
So what we're suggesting is that you come no farther forward than the house, than your house.
But it's still going to be 7 feet from our.
No, ma'am.
We're suggesting 40 feet.
We're
from
going
the
with 40
property
feet.
line.
40 feet from the
40
property.
feet from the property line. So it's essentially going to be, it would essentially be in this area.
So your views of the lake are not blocked, and the views of the lakes are protected?
But
as
Mr.
well
Roy
as-
will still get to build his structure, though.
40 feet away, that's.
Correct.
Yep.
That's what the code is, and we're asking to live by the code.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second within the staff's recommendations.
So first for the development standards, and then second for the use variance.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
So
so
first
development
vote.
standards first.
I'm sorry.
Development standards first.
Development standards.
So we have a motion and a second for development standards.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
And for, just clarify, for the second one, there are no conditions. The request for the use variance has no conditions.
Just to allow,
It would just be to allow the
Accessory dwelling.
accessory.
I'll
dwelling.
make a motion to approve to allow accessory dwelling unit within a detached accessory building.
I'll second.
motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. Last one.
And item number 9, to allow retail automotive parts store.
Brandon?
Thanks, Brandon Elam, real estate manager for Fisher Auto Parts. I've also got joining me virtually David Wesselman, our area vice president, and there in City Hall should have Jim Walsh, our regional manager. So yeah, I'd like to thank you. Yeah, we're asking to get the special exception to allow auto parts store as required in the B1 zoning district for approximately 7,500 square feet of the retail space that we're leasing at, excuse me, what is it,
2431 Monroe. Yep.
Yeah, it's a double bay, so it's listed as two addresses. It's 2429 and 2431.
This is just the Dollar General, the old footprint.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the former Dollar
Right.
General.
Little Caesars, is that over?
Yeah.
Thank you. David, staff?
Yep. So item number 9 is special exception use 25-03 petition is to allow retail automobile parts store. Location is 2431 Monroe Street. The property is currently zoned the B1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District, which allows for retail auto parts stores with the special exception use approval process by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So that's why this is here. For the record, there are no additional use requirements in the zoning ordinance that pertain to retail auto parts store. It's much similar to like a retail commercial store. Not really a Dollar General that was formerly there, but it's similar in that aspect where it's mainly going to the site, getting what you need, maybe checking a battery or something like that, if I'm correct. The store is now vacant. They're requesting to locate in this property within half of, or the vacant portion of the building.
The same footprint as what Dollar General was.
Yeah,
correct?
same footprint. The building that on the map is the white roof itself, not the black roof. That's a separate structure.
Little
I think there's
Caesars,
actually,
right?
I think there's two in that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of segmented out there, but, so staff does recommend approval of the request to allow retail auto parts store, because of the compatibility with the neighborhood, with the existing uses, office, retail, some restaurants, cafes, antique stores, things like that of the like. It fits within the countywide land development plan to encourage full development of land inside the city of LaPorte. This is similar to a lot of the walk-in type commercial retail stores, and it will not impede the normal and orderly development of any surrounding land. Won't involve any materials that are hazardous to adjacent properties, or conduct any activities, as opposed to just a general, like testing a battery or something like that, is not as conducive to an exterior impact on adjacent properties. So with that being said, without going through everything there, staff does find that the special exception use petition to allow the retail auto parts store is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the general character of the surrounding commercial retail stores, medical office buildings, religious institutions, and residential dwellings within the surrounding area. So staff does recommend approval of special exception use petition 25-03. I'll answer any questions.
And just to clarify, the definition of an auto parts store does not include repair. So
Correct.
that's a big factor in our recommendation, is that there's no repair that's going to be taking place on this, at this premises. So it should be no different than a typical retail use.
Is this a relocation of a business or a whole new business? Mr. Elam, you can answer this if you'd like. Do you already have a location in LaPorte?
I'll defer to Dave or Jim on that. Is this a de novo or a reload?
No, this is a reload.
Yeah, come on up.
Yep.
And just state your name for that. Yep.
Jim Walsh, 52095 Barrington, Granger, Indiana. It's a relocation. We're operating on State Street right now, formerly Owens Motor Supply.
Yep.
We've just had a lot of different names in the last 15 years, so.
So you'll be abandoning your State Street facility, moving out to Monroe?
Correct.
Correct, okay.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open up for public comment.
My name is Donald Johns. I'm from Johns Family Handyman and Cleaning Service. We are currently the property manager for JGMS, Jody Hamstrow, who owns the building. The city had a concern with the parking. We have expanded the parking to 38 slots. It had 19 when we started. We added the additional plus lighting for the parking lot area. So we came into compliance with what the city wanted.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service.
Thank you.
Greg Engstrom, I own the other property to the right,
I
2435.
thought you owned all of it. Okay, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
this is,
Okay.
No, there's a section of the world that, no. Anyway, so I'm in favor of it, of course. I think it'll be a nice addition. The building looks a lot nicer now. They've done some work to it. Obviously, we've spent a massive amount of money on the front of our buildings, and we're now working with NIPSCO to get rid of one or both of the poles right next to our buildings. It's not relevant to this project, but
still good to know, Greg.
yeah. And NIPSCO's, well, anyway, that's another story. Delay after delay after delay. But anyway, I think it'll be a nice addition to the neighborhood. I've been in front of you guys a couple of times before. I just was worried that there would be a major opposition. If I can give it my good word, if it has any value, I think it'll be a nice thing to have in our little neighborhood.
Thank you.
It is exciting to see all the work you're doing in this as well. This is going to really make that area much nicer than it's been in the previous couple of years. So that's great.
We have changed the frontage of that building to match his buildings.
Yeah.
Not identical, but we went with the white on white theme with the black trim. And we fully plan on adjusting the parking lot to match your parking lot. The paving you've done, we plan on a renovation next year on doing that portion of the parking lot. We tried to stay off of yours. We were even with Little Caesars on our last parking space on there. So we-
Love to hear that. Yeah, great. We love the collaboration with business owners. That's fantastic. Great.
At this point, I'll close public comment. I would also like to make a comment. Soon you guys can move to that side of town. We need an automotive parts store on that side of town. Thank you.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Congratulations. Looking forward to having you guys out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Old business,
Nope.
new business? Any other business?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.